What's shaking? Welcome back to All In. I'm Rick Jordan, and today we are going all in. Things happen in life, and today we're going to talk about when you get sad, when you feel down, or when you even get to the point to where you feel depressed. Okay, that's a very interesting word because depression gets thrown around a lot, and I mean a lot in today. I mean, especially over the last couple years with the pandemic and everything. But you know what? Screw all that, because that's done. That is really done at this point. I mean, hell, Joe Biden actually declared it done just the other week. That's a joke for you. But anyways, this word depression that everybody likes to throw around, and it's crazy because if you look at the stats around the most prescribed medications, right? Antidepressants are at the very top of that. And it's insane, the percentages. I'm talking super crazy, the percentages that are actually written for these things as far as how many adults are on antidepressants. It's insane to me because it seems like this is just a thing that's just thrown at people by doctors just to get you to a point to where you can feel okay because they don't know what else to do. And see, I have a story, a personal experience about something like this too, because when I was going through a very, very, very difficult time with health, and I've talked about what happened on my health journey a bit, right? This was after I dropped weight, after I started eating right. I had a gangrenous gallbladder. You can go back and look up that episode if you'd like. However, that's not what I'm talking about today. What I'm talking about is the actual overuse or over prescribing of antidepressants that is kind of a huge issue right now, right? And if I'm looking up some stats for you, right? Because I'm taking a look at it's like this is during 2015 to 2018. My health issues were from 2015 into the very part of 2016 because it came to a head in December of 2015 when I actually had my gallbladder removed. Gangrenous almost killed me, all of that. But prior to that, a couple months prior to that, because they were doing MRIs in my brain, they were doing all of these things just because they couldn't find out what was wrong with me for 8 months. Turns out there was a dead organ that was eating me alive, literally. There was something very, very wrong. But throughout the whole course of this, I heard so many times, it's like, well, maybe you're just in a state of depression. How's your life going? Maybe this is just anxiety. I remember the first time I went to the ER, they pumped me full of Ativan. They're like, we just want to try it, right? Because your blood pressure's high at the moment. We just want to try it because we think this is an anxiety attack. When I did pass out actually in the chair at the stylist when I was getting my haircuts. Right? They had to carry me and put me on the stretcher. It was horrible, absolutely horrible. I remember going to the washroom when I first felt this wave hit me, and I'm like, excuse me just for 1 minute. I need to just use the washroom. I go in there, and I look in the mirror, and I'm literally like talking, like, come on, Rick. What the heck is wrong with you? What is this? It's the first time I ever felt anything like that in my life. And then months later, after they couldn't find anything physically wrong with me because I was atypical, they said, you know what, we think it's just depression and it's anxiety, so we want to give you some meds. And for several months, I just said, no, I'm not taking them. It's like, my body's not feeling the way that it is because I'm depressed. However, I could be depressed because of the way that my body is feeling. Did you catch that? And because of all of these individuals just in essence not believing me that something was really, really bad, that something was wrong. The CDC, here's a stat for you, right? From 2015 to 2018, I started saying this a little bit ago, 13% of adults used antidepressants in the past 30 days during that 3-year period. That's like 1 out of 8 adults is on antidepressants. That's crazy. And you know what? The usage is even higher among women. It's 17%. That's almost 1 out of every 5 women is on antidepressants. Whereas men are a little lower. They're at 8%. So it's like 1 out of every 11 men. 1 out of 11 men and 1 out of every 5 women, 5 or 6 women are on antidepressants. That's ridiculous. That's actually insane. This is the most overprescribed drug that exists, in my opinion. I mean, come on, is 1 out of 5? I mean, and this is even before the pandemic, everybody, when these stats were, I bet you they're even higher right now. I bet you they're even higher. And it gets even crazier when it comes to age groups. Look at this, right? 8% amongst adults aged 18 to 39, so that's 1 out of every 11 or so, right? To 15% for those aged 40 to 59. And those 19%, so 1 out of every 5 of every adult, doesn't matter if you're male or female, for those age 60 or over. Do people really get that depressed as they get older? Come on now. Sure, stuff can happen, health can kick in. I know, I was there. That's literally what I'm talking about. Literally what I'm talking about. But still, for people that are getting going in life, that are trying to crush it and go after your dreams, you're saying that life is too hard? No, I think there's an issue with these things being overprescribed. And you know what? I need to tell you this because it's okay to feel the way that you're feeling. It really is. Because bad shit happens. A lot of it, I talked about this, you can't even control some things. A lot you can, right? But you can control your response to them. Bad shit happens. And it's also okay to talk to your doctor about the bad shit. That's why they're there, especially a counselor or a therapist or something like that. Go for it, please. A lot of times you just need that person. And it could be friends or something else. But don't let them shove this stuff on you. Now, there could be a very real need for a lot of people, but come on now, women, 1 in every 5? That's insane. Men, 1 in every 11? That's insane. So many people are taking these things. They're overprescribed. This message here is going to be very controversial. It might piss a lot of you off, but I'm telling you, these drugs, these pharmaceuticals, these antidepressants have a place. They have a place in life for those that really, really need them, but I cannot believe that it's that many. I know from my personal experience, that's all they wanted to shove on me. And you know, I finally conceded at one point. In pure transparency, I finally conceded. And it got to where I took it for 2 days and I noticed this change in me in just 2 days, how I was thinking, right? Which this is a side effect. It's listed there. This is the craziest thing, right? These antidepressants have side effects listed of anger. Right? Don't you get angry when you get sad or mad? It's a very real emotion. Those two can be connected. Another side effect is suicidal thoughts and tendencies. The pill that you're taking to help yourself feel better can make you want to kill yourself. This stuff is insane. I know there's a use for them. I know certain people should be on them. But to the extent that Americans are on them right now is absolutely mind-blowing to me. So I'm going to tell you some ways today how I dealt with it and how I think you can deal with it. So you don't have to take these things. Because you know what? A lot of times when you're sad, a lot of times when you're feeling really, really down, it's literally because you're just letting the stuff come at you. And this happens. You ever want to crawl into a hole in the mornings? I know you do. I know there's been moments to where you lay in bed and you don't want to get out and face your day. That's very real. I feel you because I've been there. The best thing you can do is something. Now, when I say that, just absolutely something, not necessarily getting on with your life, because sometimes that can be really, really difficult. But find some things to go after in these moments when you feel sad, when you feel at the depths of where you're at. Those are decision times. Those are times to get up and go after something. Remember those dreams that you wrote down 10 years ago, 20 years ago, whatever it was, when you were in school doodling one day, when you're a kid. Those are the things and the times and the moments to when you feel the worst is when you're like, you know what? Maybe now's the time. Because in those times, you can be active instead of being sad. That is the best thing to pull you out. This is the cure for depression. For most depressions is being active. And there's a difference. Remember, I was just saying, I know you've had those moments where you've been in bed, where you've actually not wanted to get out, where you felt like you've crawled into a hole and it's just your safe place in that moment. Being active is very different than being busy. Being busy is the same thing as staying in bed when you're feeling down. Same thing, because you're filling your life with just nonsense. It's the same stuff, right? It's the definition of insanity, is doing the same thing over and over, but expecting a different result. That's often attributed to Albert Einstein, by the way, which I agree with. When you're feeling your worst is the time to make a change. When you're feeling your worst, when you're feeling sad, when you're feeling depressed, and somebody might label you depression. If someone says, here, try this pill, pause in that moment and say, what can I do different in my life tomorrow? What's one little thing that I can do? I can't see all the steps in front of me, but I can figure out one thing to do tomorrow. Something, because progress brings you fulfillment. No joke. It's way better than even the outcome, because the sustaining of being persistent, that progress, that journey, as you start to look at every single day and be like, you know what? I have no idea how I'm going to do this. I have no idea how I'm going to bring myself out of this, but I know that I can do this one small thing today. I know today what I can do today. That's being active. Not being busy, because busy is filling up your time with stuff that doesn't matter, that you've been doing, right? Just to kind of, you ever hear, oh, take your mind off of this. You know, go do this to take your mind off of it. Are you kidding me? I've been through a lot of death in my life too, with my dad when I was 16. And there was a time period to where I just got busy, right? Just went back to the same stuff that I was doing, but I dove in deeper. It didn't change my state of mind. What changed my state of mind is when I started doing something new. When I started going after different roles. Now, business I was naturally attracted to. So I'm like, you know what? I'm going to do something different here. It was the year after my dad died that I got an early release from high school. I had all the credits that I needed to. I was going to graduate. I'm like, you know what? It's been a year. I need to do something different. I need to do something drastically different, because that's what's going to get me out of this. At the time, I ended up being the very youngest store manager in the history of Radio Shack, because I did something different. That's what pulled me out of it. That's what pulled me out of being sad and being depressed in the moment when my dad died, was making a choice to go after something in my life and doing what I could today to accomplish that. The progress is what will fulfill you. This is different than being busy. If you get one thing out of this today, being active is different than being busy. Being active, taking decisive choices towards something that you want. That's what will pull you out of depression. Now, some still may need the pills that they prescribe, but you know what? Don't be 1 out of 5 women or 1 out of 11 men just because that's just what doctors do. No joke. That's the reason I got, oh, this is just what we do. When you're feeling this way, we're gonna give you these pills. That to me is a real epidemic, a real pandemic, is the overuse of these medications, when all you need to do is just look around you, get some support, make a choice today to go after something and be active. That will pull you out of being depressed, and you go all in.